Hi, I have a story. The candle's flame flickered and its dim light disappeared into a small orange ember inside the wick for a moment. Then the darkness overcame the cave. The smell of the last flame was all that was left of the solace of light. An ember still remained in the minds of the two that were lost in the darkness of the cave. They sat in silence until the drips of water echoed from further in the earth. Their heartbeats echoed in their chests as they became aware of the situation. The two sat quietly, listening to the sounds of their bodies. They could hear the blood flowing through their veins. The dampness of the cave sent a chill up their spines, or it may have been the fear of never finding their way out of the situation. They sat still, afraid to move, for if they walked in the darkness they might fall into a hole or bang their heads into a sharp outcrop that protruded from the walls. Any ideas? The one said to the other. No, the other said. It had been a few days that they were lost in the earth. They both have already accepted that they were to be grave companions. Hope was a thing that was common in the light of day, which lies just 25 feet above their heads through thousands of pounds of rock. One felt around and grasped the hands of the other. They pulled each other into an embrace to comfort their fears. No one is coming for us, said the one. I know, said the other. We must try again, the other said. The one did not answer, as prayer was coming in a small voice. After some time, the one said, Okay, I am ready now. Take this rope and tie it to your belt, the other said, as the rope was placed into the hand of the one. Okay, all set, the one replied. Lead the way, the other said with courage. You have better night vision, the other assured the one with a grim joke. The one crawled slowly, feeling ahead with hands to sense any danger. Each movement was exacted in the blackness of the cave. Side to side exploration, searching for pits, jagged points, or airflow. The cave floor was dusty, and clouds of rock dust caused them to cough with their slow progress into the blackness. The two headed into the direction that they thought was the right way to travel to find a way out. The sounds of them sliding and crawling went on for hours. This was their last-ditch effort to find life on the other side of their adventure into the earth. The ground inclined before them, and both became hopeful that the surface was around an outcropping just ahead. I'm wiped out, the one said to the other. Push on, we are almost there, came from behind, from the other. The one continued on up the slope with hands searching for a change of texture or evidence of escape. Water dripped onto the one's hand. Then the one rolled over and allowed the water to quench the thirst that had built up from the trek. What's wrong? The other asked. There is water, and I am drinking, the one replied, then crawled up to make room for the other to drink. The other did the same, and both felt renewed in their efforts of escape. They continued on. The darkness had become a normal way of seeing for them as they moved slowly on their bellies. Do you hear that? The other said to the one. They both froze and listened. It was the sound of raindrops. The one whispered back to the other, "We are close to the surface, I know it." This charged them in their spirit, and they continued on. An hour or so passed, then the one felt the floor of the cave to be wet. They kept going quietly, listening to the sound of the rain above their heads, which seemed to be getting louder. They crawled through the now soaked cave floor until one felt a small flow of air. "I feel air on my face," the one shouted down to the other. "Keep going," the other encouraged. The already cramped passage was getting smaller and more difficult to maneuver. The one felt water flowing down the slope, which soaked everything. "We must now dig because it is too small to go any further." The one pulled at anything to search for movement. A rock came loose and was passed back carefully down to the other. Again, a rock was pulled and passed along. The one kept going, pulling and scraping earth away to pass behind to the other. Each time the earth gave way as the rain trickled into the voids created by the hands of the one. Many hours passed in this manner. The space widened, and their hands were bloodied and bruised by the toil. Finally, the one reached up and grabbed a chunk of earth and pulled it free. Fresh air rushed into the hole where they lay. This invigorated their escape efforts. They pulled and passed much more earth and noticed that it was softer to the touch. A large chunk of soil fell from over top of the one which was pushed aside. The one wiped the dirt away and looked up. The one saw a star through the hole created by their efforts. "We are free!" the one shouted in relief. The other one just below cried, "Hallelujah!" Exhaustion set in, and they rested inside the earth one more time before they slowly crawled from the earth that they thought to be their grave. The one and the other both lay on their backs next to the hole they dug, looking up at the starry sky as the rain washed their bodies clean from the musty earth of the cave. They laid there a long time in the warm night air, giving thanks that they were free. Now that you have heard this story, would you consider yourself as one or the other in your life? Shalom.